Welcome to Agenda Edina, a program summarizing the actions taken at City Hall that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. City staff is working on an ordinance to control where cannabis is sold in Edina when the state's Office of Cannabis Management, or OCM, begins issuing licenses in 2025. Adults 21 and older have been allowed to use cannabis since last August. However, cannabis cannot be sold in Minnesota until the OCM is able to issue licenses, expected on or around January 1st, 2025. Municipalities are required to allow cannabis licenses issued by the state. The city may adopt an ordinance covering some specific local regulations, including the maximum number of licenses to be issued, cost of registration, and zoning districts cannabis businesses will be allowed to operate in. State law also allows cities to establish buffers from schools, daycares, residential treatment facilities, or attractions within a public park that are regularly used by minors, including playgrounds and athletic fields. At least once a year, cities are required to conduct compliance checks of every cannabis and hemp business. At a work session last month, city staff presented its initial recommendations.
It's been an interesting thing. We've had a group of staff working on it, a small committee of staff working on it, from planning to health to administration and other departments. So we've gotten input from lots of places, and we're trying to make a good decision for the current time. And this is a new thing for the state, so hopefully we hit the sweet spot.
The city is required to allow one license per every 12,500 residents. So Edina could limit the number to 5 or allow more. The city council directed staff to draft the ordinance with a maximum of 5. A city may impose an initial retail fee of $500 or up to half the amount of the state's license fee, whichever is less. Staff recommended charging the maximum amount for registration until the city fully understands the staff work associated with the process. Many cities choose to zone cannabis retailers similar to tobacco and liquor stores. In Edina, those stores are permitted in the planned commercial districts, or PCD. Examples of PCD1 zoned areas for smaller neighborhood businesses are Valley View and Wooddale, 44th and France, 70th and Cahill, and Lincoln and Londonderry. PCD2 allows for more and slightly larger commercial businesses. Examples are Grandview and 50th in France. PCD3 allows the most and largest commercial businesses and is limited to the Southdale district. To best scatter such businesses across the city, the council directed staff to draft an ordinance including all 3 PCDs. The public will be invited to weigh in on the draft ordinance during a public hearing later this year. Residents can provide testimony at that time online at bettertogetheredina.org, by voicemail, or by attending the meeting when the matter is considered. The historic Wooddale Avenue Bridge over Minnehaha Creek will be replaced. Last month, the council approved a memorandum of agreement with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, St. Paul District, and the Minnesota State Historic Preservation Office regarding the bridge. The bridge was built in 1937 as a product of Depression-era federal relief program. It was designated a local heritage landmark by the Edina Heritage Preservation Commission. However, the bridge is deteriorating. The railings do not meet current safety standards, and the narrow deck is inadequate to safely accommodate pedestrians and bicyclists.
If we had to rehab it, you can see the bridge in the background. It has a steel arch that right at the water line, it's starting to rust. So to get access to that rusted portion of the steel, you'd have to remove those failing railings, remove the street, and you'd go down to basically a half tin can arch and then repair it. And at that point, the whole bridge is ripped up. You might as well put back something that meets our transportation needs for wider sidewalks, buffered bike lanes, and just more space for people to use the bridge from a transportation standpoint.
The Army Corps of Engineers and the State Historic Preservation Office have agreed the bridge can be replaced. However, the memorandum of agreement requires the city to document the bridge for historic purposes and put up an informational sign near the bridge detailing its history. The Edina High School and Middle School mountain bike teams participate and win at the state level, but have not had a place to practice in the city for the past decade. That will change this month. 8 miles of biking trails are set to open to the public on previously unused sections of Braemar Park. New hiking trails will also wind through the area. Edina TV takes us on a ride to show us what we can expect.
Not far from the meticulously maintained greens at the Braemar Golf Course. Enthusiasts of a very different sport will find a more rugged landscape.
This is our largest park, so it was a pretty good and easy location to start looking at trails.
At 500 acres, Braemar Park was the natural choice for new walking and mountain bike trails. These new recreation options are part of the Braemar Park project, funded with the local option sales tax, approved by voters in 2022. A project celebrated by the Edina High School and Middle School mountain bike team.
The fact of the matter is that here in the western suburbs, there's kind of a desert of mountain bike trails.
Landscape architects incorporated input from the teams to make a course fun and accessible for all skill levels.
We've asked the city to create a system that has both challenging features, but features that also can be ridden around or can be avoided by less experienced riders.
But before any trail work could begin, a thorny obstacle had to be removed, an invasive species called buckthorn.
The material is okay to be left as long as it's not a heavy layer.
What wasn't burned was ground up.
It really went from a solid wall of green to what you're seeing kind of today, where it's a lot of this had to be forestry mowed down. It was really the only established species in here.
Pathfinder Trail Building did what they do best, carving the trail design into the existing topography. Surrounding it all is 2.5 miles of hiking trails.
We're working on just buttoning up things like signage and some of hazard removals and also some clay capping on the trails.
New park amenities in Edina, nearly complete after a long climb, giving residents and around 120 local students a home field advantage.
The community as a whole obviously is going to benefit, but I'm here as a representative of the team, and the team is really pleased.
On the Braemar Trails, I'm Dan Carpenter for Edina TV.
To learn more about the new trails, including the date of the ribbon cutting, visit edinamn.gov/parks. Next year, work on the trails will continue with the planting of native species. Efforts to control buckhorn will continue for years to come. Time is running out to take a dip or enjoy the many other water amenities at the Edina Aquatic Center. The facility will close for the season August 18th. In August, the Little Lagoon Water Playground area is open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The main pool, water slides, diving boards, and Lost Wave Surf Simulator are open 11:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. The Shipwreck Express zip line is open 11:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. 11:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday, and 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Learn more at edinaaquaticcenter.com. I hope you are enjoying these last few weeks of summer. Thank you for watching this episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.